All right, well, we'll begin the meeting at, I assume it's 6 o'clock. I don't have a watch in front of me, but
6:02.
at 6:02 we'll begin. And we will again point out that in compliance with Public Act 100-0640, Alan, myself, me, President of the Board of Trustees, has determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the current COVID-19 pandemic disaster and associated building restrictions. Public access to the meeting is being provided remotely, online, or by phone. Additionally, public comments can be submitted before the meeting to Gina at her email for recitation at into the public record during the public participation. So that is the preliminary, and we'll go ahead and do the roll call, please.
Mr. Sherwood.
Here.
Mr. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Cadwallader.
Here.
Mrs. Hanks.
Here.
Mr. Laswell.
Here.
All right, we're almost all here tonight. Public participation, Gina, are you aware of any?
I don't see anyone other than the board members, Tammy and I, on the meeting, and I did not receive any emails for recitation into the record.
Okay. All right, well, we'll move along to the agenda review. Does anybody have any modifications to tonight's agenda they would like to bring up? Okay, doesn't sound like any, so we'll move along to the consent agenda, the approval of minutes of the January 25th, 2021 regular meeting, and the approvals of the bills, and we need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
And second.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion of the bills or the minutes? Okay. Hearing none. Tammy, would like a roll call, please?
Mr. Sherwood.
Yes?
Mr. Gross.
Yes.
Mr. Cadwallader.
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks.
Yes.
Mr. Laswell.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried. We'll move along to Ron and the treasurer's report.
Nothing to add over what's already in your packet. Tammy, do you have anything else to add to what's already in there this month?
I do not.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. We'll move along to the director's report. And Gina, the floor is yours.
Hello, hello. In my packet was my monthly director's report. Please let me know if you have any questions about the items that I did report there. I was able today to successfully certify the library through the annual certification process. So that's done again for the second time. And we learned, so IMRF is our pension area. Usually at the beginning of the year, they report on returns from the previous year. They reported a net return of 14.69% in 2020. And that is just over 2 times the assumed rate. They always operate under an assumed rate of 7.25%. So that was about double. Not too shabby for what was 2020. They note that the 2020 gains should put downward pressure on employer rates starting in 2022. However, between 2020 and 2021, we were realizing 3 long-term retirements. So I'm not sure. So I'm not really sure how much downward pressure it'll put on our rates, but at least if it can hold them steady, that would be helpful. That remains yet to be seen. We meet with the IMRF. We have one-on-ones with our IMRF representative at least once a year, and they're available by phone. But usually when you do see kind of several retirements, it does mess with your rate some. However, good returns help with that. And I don't think, my last discussion with him is while we are not 100%, if everyone were to retire today, that's what 100% funded means, right? You have enough in the account that if everyone were to retire today, you could fully do it. While we're not there, we are in a very good position. So do you have questions from my report in the packet? All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. And we'll move along to the communications and correspondence, library statistics.
Other than the statistics are in your packet, and I'm willing to answer any questions from those. As well as I did put the palm card from the legislative event that's coming up on this Friday. Even if you can't attend, I usually try to share that just so you know what the ILA legislative talking points are. I'll be attending online this Friday morning, and usually the report I bring back is usually the palm card. So unless I learn something shockingly different from what's here, it's usually an advocacy day and a discussion of these points. So any questions about that?
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to the next item, which is the executive session. And in compliance with 5 ILCS 1202 C11, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. We'll need a motion and a roll call, and then Gina will state the next paragraph.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, Tammy? Yes.
You're muted.
Mr. Sherwood,
Yes.
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Cadwalader,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks,
Yes.
and Mr. Laswell.
Yes.
Okay, we're back in regular session, and we're at the closing comments section. Does anybody have any comments before we adjourn? All right, well, we need a motion to adjourn until our next meeting of March 29th at 6 o'clock.
I'll make a
Uh,
motion.
I'll second it.
And roll call, Tammy?
Mr. Sherwood,
Yes?
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Cadwalader,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanks,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell.
Yes.
Motion carried. I guess we will see you in about a month.
Thank you, everyone.
See
Night,
y'all.
everybody.
Bye.